Hello world. I'm going to entitle this video, Why We Can't Overthrow the Governor. I get a lot of questions in Facebook, email, phone calls, texts, from concerned citizens in our county wanting to know, what can we do? Can we stage a protest? Can we, and it's more along the lines of, can we stage a protest as people to show the commissioners or the local government that we want them to do something? I will never tell someone they can't exercise their First Amendment right to gather peaceably and to protest. I will never say it's a bad idea. Hell, I might even want to join you. But what would it accomplish? My honest, personal human opinion, or human to human, is nothing. We won't be the first people to protest. We won't be the last. And unless you were protesting with 50,000 people at front of his door every day, I don't think it's going to matter. Maybe you think county government's not doing anything. To a large extent, we can't. Executive Order 121 basically is the one where he said commissioners and city governors aren't doing anything to react quickly enough, so I'm taking all their powers and I'll handle stuff. There's a state statute that gives him that authority, North Carolina General Statute 166A. During a declared state of emergency, he can do that, and he did right out of the gate. We can make rules more strict than his, but we cannot make rules less strict than his. So if he says every business has to close at 10 p.m. every day of the week, we could say every business has to close at 8 p.m. That's more strict. But we couldn't say, no, you don't. Even if we wrote the ordinance, it wouldn't matter. It would have no effect. Zero, none. What can the people do? Okay, and so here's a good question. You would have to have, currently it's December 7th, you would have to have a 3/5 majority of the North Carolina legislature get together and call a special session. That would require, under our current makeup, the entire Republican delegation in the legislature, as well as 3 or 4 Democrats to come together and vote to have an emergency session, because they don't come back into session until the middle or end of January. So they're not going to, you can't do anything now unless you convince the legislation to come back for a special session. If that session happened, you would then have to convince a 3/5 majority, again 60% of the legislation, to overturn whatever thing you want to overturn. If it's Executive Order 180 or 166 or 121 or whatever it is. Again, you'd have to have every single Republican and 3 to 4 Democrats all join to do that. The odds of that happening are zero. You have a lot of moderate Republicans that were elected this last cycle that just took office, 30 days ago. They took office in some state, in some situations, they took office because they're moderates. In other words, people who were slightly Democratic voted for them, even though they're Republicans. There's enough of those guys out there that you'd never get all the Republicans to come together to vote for this anyway, because they're not going to alienate their moderate base that just elected them 30 days ago. And that would just kind of shoot them in the foot right in the first few weeks of their job. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. It's just the world we live in. Here's the truth. NC General Statute 166A gives him the authority to make executive orders, and we have to abide by them. From the government standpoint, there's nothing we can do. Believe me, I'm not opposed, but there's nothing to be done. I wish there was. Can you protest? Absolutely. Should you protest? That's up to you on an individual level. I wouldn't condemn you for protesting. I wouldn't condemn anybody for protesting. I may agree or disagree with, their particular protest, but I'll never try to deny somebody their right to do it. That's all I know how to say. People that want us in local government to find a solution, or to come up with a solution, or to get off our butt, it's not like those of us in these roles haven't looked for alternatives. I've talked to county attorneys, I've talked to state attorneys, I've talked to the governor's office, I've talked to legislators, I've talked to the guys who do the legwork for legislators. There's nothing to be done, not within the bounds of the North Carolina General Statutes, such as they are right now. It sucks today, and if you want to make change, you're going to have to make change tomorrow so it can't happen again. But I don't know a way to get out of it now. So there's my quick video. Have a good day, y'all. I wish I had better news. Merry Christmas.